You have dreamed of breathing fresh air, looking at the world from above. You have imagined the sea at your ankles. In your fantasies, you have discovered hidden treasures and walked in the greenery of timeless gardens. You have admired a city kissed by the sun, dining by the sea, caressed by the breeze. You have travelled the world in your dreams, but now is the time to really go. This summer, come to Genoa. Genoa. All you ever wanted.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to all of you e-sailing fans sitting out there waiting for the 24 hours update Genova Trieste Regatta. It is, for all of you who haven't seen it before, this is an online regatta. This is played in Virtual Regatta Offshore. The start went 24 hours ago. We sailed out from Genova, and right now we are going all the way to Trieste. I'm not the only one in studio today going to help you. Of course, I always have beautiful help from one of my most dedicated friends, and also he's much beautiful than me. Please welcome Mr. Alec Wilkinson.
Hello, hello, yes, good evening, buonasera, Trieste, Genova, Italia. And I have to say, Thomas is never that polite to me normally, only when we're on TV.
Yeah, and that's the difference from you and me, Alec. I am the big one and you are, no, I have to say, you're actually sitting in much better weather than me. And we're going to have some good updates today because a lot of things happen in this fantastic regatta. We are actually racing around Italy, and we are writing history again, Alec. We have to remind all the viewers out there that we're actually creating history. And can you please guide us a little bit through what we're actually doing at the moment?
Well, I mean, basically, if you missed the big show, the big launch show yesterday evening, then you should know it is the biggest prize pot in offshore e-sailing ever. It's a prize pot of 3,000 euros. Is that right?
Actually, I have to
3,500
€500, yeah. 2,000 to the winner, 1,000 to second place, 500 to third place as gift cards to Amazon. But no more than that, we are covering this event every day, every night, 9 in the evening, doing a half-hour update, and then we're going to follow who is going to win it the last day. So maybe we're going up middle of the night and doing one live show, because if they're coming to Trieste in the night, then we're doing the last show in middle of the night.
Yeah, it's the most comprehensive live coverage of an e-sailing offshore event ever. We're with you for half an hour every evening. We did the full hour and something build up yesterday just to set the scene. But you won't miss a thing. Join us every evening or morning or afternoon, depending on where you are around the world. And we'll update you on who is doing what in the race. And yeah, we'll bring you that finish live, of course, as the boats come into Trieste.
Yeah, and we're getting ready to go in game, Alec. Let's see what happened the last 24 hours. Here is the overview, Alec, and you can see our boat is this black one. And right now it looks like we are going to hit ground in 4 hours. But it's not interesting what we're doing, because we are placed number 10,000 in the world. See how the wind has developed. Very powerful wind going up to us, Alec. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I mean, so the conditions right from the start have been, fairly choppy conditions. They've been traveling upwind, and the winds have been reaching around about 20 knots, but they've also been dropping to around 15. So they've had kind of a difference of between 15 and 20 knots, depending on their position within the course. And we saw most of the leaders earlier on today head, as our boat, our black boat there is doing at the moment, head towards the shore, towards land. But now they've sort of headed out back towards Sardinia, where you can see the stronger winds are.
Yeah, but let's go in and see the top 5 at the moment. We are very interesting in follow top 5.
Yeah,
and we can see
we need a big drum roll here, Thomas.
Drum roll. We can see Cap Kermit is right now in the lead. Let's go in and follow him, a guy. And what we are showing you is also a way where you can show who's in the lead. Big Balls from Australia in second, Corky, he's in third. Then we have Varquall, he's in fourth, and the Thero Uphill or Heil, also from France, is in fifth. And let's go in and watch them. Let's have a view on them. Let's see how it's going. See there, the fleet is placed.
Yeah, I mean,
and Alex, see how far behind we are. Actually, I thought we went good.
Yeah, but we're somewhere in the middle of the fleet, so we're not doing too badly. Although we have got a fully upgraded boat, so maybe we should be doing better. But look how far ahead those leaders are. But equally, look how close they are, which is why the lead has been changing constantly for the last 24 hours. So just before we came on air, literally a few minutes ago, the lead or the leading 5 were completely different. But now, Koki has dropped down. He was in the lead for a while. We've got an Australian coming up into second place. But really, we can't attach too much importance to the top 5 at the moment, because things do change so quickly. And of course, we've got a fleet of over 16,000 boats here.
Yeah, and quite interesting to see how they've been racing the last 24 hours, Alec. Opposite us, we sailed straight out into the sea, where rest of them then actually made a maneuvering where they made a bend in towards Italy, and then they did their first maneuvering towards Corsica, in between these two small island and Corsica, and see the difference from the leader when they make their next maneuvering. Maybe you can guide us a little bit through here, because see here, it's not much, but still, it's a difference for who is in the lead and who's not.
Yeah, I mean, well, the thing about our route is we were doing a TV show at the same time as trying to sell the boat, so that we've got the excuse, Thomas.
Yeah.
But, let's look at what the pros have been doing. So remember, every tack, every jibe, costs you time. So it's about trying to find the most efficient route. So just go back slightly up to the top of Corsica there. They came out of Genova. They headed sort of in that sort of arch there, and then tacked and came in towards Corsica, then travelled along between Corsica and that's Isola d'Elba, and then headed southeast, and pretty much matched each other for strategy and tactics. And then it was interesting how close they came. Just south of Rome, they headed towards the coast, and it's interesting to see who tacked earlier or later, and whether that has paid off in the long run.
Yeah, but there are
so three major maneuvers there, really.
Yeah, they are side by side still. We can see it here with the boats, and it's changing all the time. And Alec, in the future, in the next couple of hours, they will go here to the Ionian Sea, and then they will go into this fantastic narrow street. And I'm looking forward to it.
So the big debate before the race, like a few days before, was: do you go round the outside of Sicily and round the bottom that way, or do you take a shortcut and go through the Straits of Messina? Now, we had the Italian Olympic sailor and Volvo Ocean Race sailor Francesca Klapcic on the show yesterday, and she said absolutely you go through the Straits of Messina, even though in many ways it's trickier in the game than it is in real life because they are so narrow on our maps here. But we think that they'll be reaching Messina by morning, and of course that is a consideration because unlike the real sailors, if we were doing this for real, a lot of the competitors here have to go to work tomorrow, so they will need to go to bed at some point. So navigating such a difficult strait through the night might not have been their option. But anyway, it looks like the majority are going to be heading that way.
Yeah, and Alec, let's go back to studio. And Alec, a big update is nothing without having guests in the studio. And I have to say, after a small break here, we will have our guest of tonight. Can you make a small introduction of him?
Well, a former world number one in e-sailing, 2 times world championship finalist from France. Can you guess who it is yet? We'll tell you after the break.
Yeah, we will.
Hey, here's La Menoir from France. Good evening, bonsoir. How is Annecy this evening?
Yeah. Yes. Hello, Thomas. Hello, Alec. How are you?
We're good. We're good. So, you are currently sitting approximately in the top 100. Okay. So you're doing okay. Close. Yeah, you're doing okay.
Yes.
Tell us. You know, you are a successful inshore sailor. I'm just interested to know how much offshore experience do you have?
I started offshore in 2012 for the Vendée Globe, and I play often and a bit more actually because there is a new Vendée Globe which we start in November, so I need to be ready for that. And right. This is yes, and this race was really interesting because I did not plan to do it, but there is a real good prize pool, so that's why I decided to go in.
Well, good for you. We're glad you're in the competition, and so you're practicing the Vendée Globe race as well as this Barcolana Genova to Trieste race. Okay, so tell us. We'll have a look at the map. You can. What has been your strategy over the last 24 hours?
Yeah. So I took a good start from Genoa. And then I took a risk at my second tack. I decided to tack a bit earlier than the leading group, so it was beneficial during all the day, during all the afternoon. I had a pretty good ranking around the top 10.
So let me just explain to the viewer. It's the red line is La Mer Noire. Sorry, the white line is La Mer Noire.
Yeah, and the red line we can see is the actual leader, Koki. So that's the leader, and they tack a bit later than me. So now he's in front. I'm a bit late, like I don't know, like 5-10 minutes. Oh yes, 5 minutes.
Okay, so tell me, if we then follow your white line towards Rome, you do a very late tack, right close to the land. Why did you leave it so late?
Because there is a good restaurant on the beach with a pretty waitress.
I have to jump in here. I have to jump in. I'm pretty sure he went on ground. Can you see? He went on ground, did he?
You think he grounded his boat there, huh? Yeah.
I just grab some food.
Well, I think, yeah, but I seem to remember, and there is a photograph somewhere doing the rounds of the internet of La Mer Noire pushing a grounded boat in Sarasota.
No, you should not speak about that.
We should not speak about that.
No.
World Championship final, folks. He goes sailing with some of the world's top sailors and manages to ground the boat.
No, that's false, fake news, guys. Never trust them.
All right, so
no.
Let's look forward now. What are your tactics going to be for the Straits of Messina? Are you going to go through the gap, or are you going to go around Sicily?
No, around is too much distance. So I'm going to go through Messina, straight Messina. Mm-hmm. So this is the first goal, and then we'll have to manage small winds when we will run Italy, the east of the Italy. So I will try to attack in order to come back. Yes, in this part of the map. Okay. If you can, yes, as Thomas put the win in 48 hours.
Do you think you can come back? Do you think you can close that gap on the leaders?
It will be tough because guys are really saying well, and when you are late, it's not an advantage. But I will try.
Just for the viewers at home who maybe aren't playing the game, if you look at that scale on the right-hand side where it says 48 hours, 3 days, 4 days, you click on that, and it shows us what the weather conditions are at that point. So, you know, I think your hope is that when you get to the heel of Italy, so you've gone around the bottom, that the wind will be a lot stronger by then. It'll be in about 3 days' time, I think.
Yes, 3 days, and so it's difficult to attack during the strong winds, but it's possible. But I think in the small wind it will be better to have a strategy to come back to the leader.
And because you can see the predicted weather so far in advance, do you plan your strategy at the start of the race, so you already know what you're going to do, or do you change and sort of make it up as the race goes on?
Oh, I change many times during a day because there are many updates of the winds, like 4 per days, and we try to adapt our strategy each at each updates.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah, no. So just finally, do you already have a plan for the Adriatic Sea?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Okay.
It's really too early for me, and the wind will really change a lot. Strong wind, small wind, turning, shift. So I will manage when I will be in front of the situation.
I just want to know one last thing, which will be of interest to the other sailors as well. Have you got a fully upgraded boat? Have you got all the extras?
Yes. Yeah, I have all the extras, and that's really, if you can sail without, that's really fun. But if you want to be among the leaders, you really have to take all options.
Okay, including the polish.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so you've even got a nice shiny boat.
Yeah,
La mer Noire.
shiny.
Bon chance for the rest
Merci.
of the race.
Merci beaucoup.
And Alec Wilkinson, we want you in studio also. There you go, my friend. Quite interesting to speak with La Mer Noire. Let's try to wrap up a little bit what he said. He said, hey, they will round the heel of Italy within 36 hours. There will be a very strong wind, and then the wind will disappear.
Yeah, moving it back a bit, I'm surprised that he thinks he'll be hitting the Straits of Messina at about 10 o'clock tomorrow morning European time. I thought they might be there a little bit sooner, but that's good for them, because I think it'll be an easier route for them during the day. And then, yes, he's hoping to get around the bottom of Italy and then sort of catch those heavy winds and just fly up the east coast. It'll be interesting to see, though, do they go closer to the Croatian coast, which traditionally is what you would do if you were sailing it for real, or do you stay further west towards the Italian coast?
Yeah, let's go out in the game and let's try to predict what's going to happen with the weather forecast as it is right now, the next 36 hours. And to all of you viewers out there, right now we still have the leader in La Mer Noire placed here in the middle, the red and the white line. We removed all wind. This way we better can see what happens. Right now, time is 20 minutes past 9 in the evening, Central European time, and we can see they are right now in a pretty medium wind, 30.7 knots of wind going up towards them, Alec. And
yeah, I mean that's interesting, because we were discussing yesterday, weren't we? All the and we've just talked to La Mer Noire about the upgrades, and some of the upgrades on these boats can be their sail inventory, including light wind sails or strong wind sails, but they're kind of sort of somewhere in between at the moment. So they'll probably be running with light wind sails still, I think. At the moment.
I remember what Matt, he told us. He said, stay away from the coast in the night. And actually it's night now, but there's there's okay wind, but 6 knots by the coast. So right now we can see both of them are heading out to the sea, straight out, and then they might do a maneuvering where they go straight into Italy and try to get a good angle into the streets of Messina.
Well, let's have a look. Let's just have a look at what the wind is going to be in the middle of the night. So let's go forward about 5 hours, shall we?
Yeah.
Because they'll be hitting sort of
They will hit around here in 6 hours, yeah.
Yeah, so around the Aeolian Islands, around there. And, you know, you can see how much stronger the winds are off that western tip of Sicily. But that is such a long way around. So, yeah, they have to navigate the Aeolian Islands. What a beautiful part of the world to be in. You'd kind of want to be there during the day in real life. A, because they're beautiful, and B, because you're not going to hit one if you can see it. But, you know, you've got the island of Stromboli, which is basically a volcano, currently, you know, sort of erupting every now and again, spewing up dust and smoke every now and again. So it is a really beautiful, fascinating place. If you've never been, you should try and go. But anyway, from a sailing point of view, from this race's point of view, it does look like they'll still have plenty of breeze there, probably around, what, 13, 14, 15 knots, something like that.
In 6 hours, they will have 14, 16, 17. When they are coming closer, the wind will disappear because the land will cover it to 9, 10. In 9 hours, to those who is a little bit slower, there will be a little bit stronger wind, also close to the coast. So quite interesting what's going to happen. So the next 9 hours, the wind will speed up. But when they come to the opposite side of Messina Street,
now then,
there's no wind, Alec. The wind is gone. 5, 4, it's dead.
Yeah. And, well, I mean, he's talking about 10 o'clock. Let's have a look at 12 hours from now. Let's see if it picks up at all.
5 knots, 6.6. So they have a route around, I have to say, around 100 nautical miles, maybe 80 nautical miles, where there's no wind. And then they come around the boot of Italy, and then the wind picks up.
Yeah, so they'll definitely be applying their light wind sails on through that Straits of Messina, and the sailors that have that inventory on their boat, have that upgrade, are going to start really getting ahead and taking advantage of the quality of their sails.
Yeah, and while we're speaking about sails, Alex, see here. Also to all the new viewers here, we can see here in this menu we just opened which type of sails we can use, which type of sails we have, how fast we can sail with them. Also, we are so lucky we can put on auto sails for 24 hours. That's a gimmick, you can get into it. But the light jib, or the jib, is going to be those sails they are going to sail with. And right now in this wind pressure we have where we are sailing around 10 knots and the wind is 14.6. So when they're coming down here in, let's see, that was in 6 hours, they will also have a speed of their boat around 10 knots and getting ready to round the Messina streets.
I tell you what, if they were doing it for real, they'd be quite looking forward to a bit of calm weather, a bit of lighter winds down south, because it's been a choppy ride so far heading south.
And while you're saying that, Alec, let's have a beautiful look of our boat. It's very hard. It's very hard, and we can actually see it's night. And yeah, there are waves right now where we are sailing. They are pretty harsh. So it's going a little bit up and down, and I have to see, I might feel a little bit seasick. You can see we are sailing 11.6 knots. The wind is 22 knots, and it's a beautiful weather, 21.7 degrees where we are at the moment. So,
wow, that really is nice. Yeah. Well, if you're feeling seasick, you know, the best thing to do is to be on watch for the night out in the fresh air. So I'll just go below and sleep through the night. How about that?
And Alec, you just said it. I want to go to sleep and enjoy the night. Beautiful weather, calm water, everything. But these players are going to make their tactics tonight, and some of them has to program. They have something called waypoint cards in the game. We will look more into that tomorrow when they have rounded Messina Street. But right now we also need to wrap up and say goodbye to all of you out there and wish you all the well. Anything on
just one thing?
Yeah?
We've forgotten to give the best placed Italian and where he is. It is currently, I'm looking up the name, Nico TNT is the best placed Italian boat currently in the top 30. Yeah. So you know, I'm here in Trieste, so I should say go Nico.
Yeah, and he's only 0.54 nautical miles behind the leader, so very close to the leading boat. But as Alec Manoir told us, wow, these short meters in between the boats doesn't mean anything, or it means a lot, because it's pretty hard to capture that in a short race like this. Alec, all of you out there, have a good night, have fun. We'll be back tomorrow with another upgrade and another guest in studio from Genova, Trieste Regatta.
Ciao, ciao.